Hello, tropical fish keepers. Welcome to Life in the Amazon, hosted by me, South American fish keeper Aqua Alex Cardinale. Thank you all for tuning in to this episode of Life in the Amazon. If you're watching this video live, thank you so much for watching. And if you're catching the replay of today's video, thank you so much for watching. As my new intro showed, the Amazon River in South America is home to many different species of fish. And those many species of freshwater fish call Venezuela home. Tonight, on the 18th episode of Life in the Amazon, we are traveling to Venezuela to learn about the different fish species that call Venezuela home. And we're going to have some fun by creating some Venezuelan biotope aquariums featuring community fish and a monster predatory fish. And for the first time ever on an episode of Life in the Amazon, I'm going to show you some fish that I own that come from Venezuela. So, on this episode of Life in the Amazon, I will discuss what you need to know about this country, Venezuela. I will discuss the fish that live there and call Venezuela home. I will show off my fish that come from Venezuela, and I will create biotopes from fish that call Venezuela home. This is going to be a really fun episode of Life in the Amazon. Shout out to my friend Jeff, who is in the house. Hey, Jeff, how are you? I hope you enjoy this amazing episode and Life in the Amazon. So, what are your favorite fish from Venezuela? Post your favorite fish in the comments. And if you don't know about any particular fish species from Venezuela, you're going to learn about them today. Now, one of my all time favorite species from Venezuela is a geophagus known as Geophagus abalis. And I actually have 3 juveniles of this species, and I'm going to show off my Geophagus abalis on today's video. I also love the 4-line pictus, which comes from Venezuela. I'm going to show that fish off. I also have a red wolffish, a black wolffish, and a gold wolffish. All 3 wolffish can be found in Venezuela. I have a lot of favorite fish from Venezuela that I'm going to talk about tonight. All right, we have an action-packed show, and we're off to a late start because I was putting so much work into today's show. Let's go ahead and get started. And we're going to get started with our social studies. We're going to learn about the country, Venezuela, that is in South America. So we're going to get started with a little bit of a social studies class. Now, Venezuela is a country on the northern coast of South America, consisting of a continental landmass and many islands and islets in the Caribbean Sea. As of 2022, this year, Venezuela's population was estimated at 29 million people. The capital and largest urban agglomeration is the city of Caracas, Venezuela. The continental territory is bordered on the north by the Caribbean Sea and the Atlantic Ocean, on the west by Colombia, Brazil on the south, Trinidad and Tobago to the northeast, and on the east by Guyana. Venezuela is located in the north of South America. Geologically, its mainland rests on the South American plate. Venezuela is the 33rd largest country in the world. So it is one of the largest countries. It's the 33rd largest. Venezuela borders Colombia to the west, Guyana to the east, and Brazil to the south. Caribbean islands such as Trinidad and Tobago, Grenada, Curaçao, Aruba, and the Leeward Antilles lie near the Venezuelan coast. Venezuela has territorial disputes with Guyana, formerly United Kingdom, largely concerning the Essequibo area, and with Colombia concerning the Gulf of Venezuela. Venezuela is entirely located in the tropics over the equator to around 12 degrees north. Its climate varies from humid low elevation plains where average annual temperatures range as high as 35 degrees Celsius, which is 95 degrees Fahrenheit, to glaciers and highlands with an average yearly temperature of 46.4 degrees Fahrenheit. Venezuela lies within a neotropical realm. Large portions of the country were originally covered by moist broadleaf forest. One of 17 mega-diverse countries, Venezuela's habitats range from the Andes Mountains in the west to the Amazon Basin rainforest in the south, via extensive Llanos Plains and Caribbean coast in the center and the Orinoco River Delta in the east. Animals of Venezuela are diverse. There are many different species of animals that call Venezuela home. These include tropical freshwater fish, which we're going to learn about tonight, manatees, three-toed sloth, two-toed sloth, Amazon river dolphins, anacondas, and Orinoco crocodiles, which have been reported to reach up to 22 feet in length. Venezuela hosts a total of 1,417 bird species, 48 of which are endemic to Venezuela. And like I said, there's a lot of aquatic animals that Venezuela has, like the anaconda, electric eel, and all the freshwater fish that we're going to learn about here on this episode of Life in the Amazon. So Jeff says, I sense stars. What does that do? I'm glad you asked. That is a new feature that live streamers have on Facebook. Basically, stars is your appreciation. When you send stars, that sends some money my way. So, however many stars you send, that's however the amount of money that I'm going to get. So, when you send stars, it allows me to continue to deliver high quality shows like this one. It continues to encourage me to put out high quality shows. So I am very, very thankful for that. Thank you so much, Jeff. You're the very first person to do so. You're the very first person in history to do so, and I'm very, very glad you did. So thank you very much, and I'm glad you brought that question up because sooner or later it was going to be brought up. But Facebook Stars is basically like YouTube chat, where you can send money to your favorite live streamer. So thank you very much, Jeff. I greatly appreciate that. So that is the boring part of the show. That is the social studies class of the show. That is your information about Venezuela. Now we're going to get to the meat and potatoes of the show. And now we're going to talk about tropical fish. Now, I'm not going to talk about every single freshwater fish species that lives in Venezuela because in order to do that, I'd have to be here about 5, 6, 7, maybe 8 hours because there are so many fish species that call Venezuela home. I have selected some species that I'm going to talk about, and these are only a select some. Like I said, there are a plethora of fish species that call Venezuela home. So here are some of the freshwater fish that live in Venezuela. Now, usually I show images of every fish that I talk about, but StreamYard Studio has a limit of how much images I can show. So I'm going to have to talk about some and show images of others, but that is totally fine. So let's go ahead and get started. We're going to learn about what freshwater fish calls Venezuela home. Up first, a fish that my buddy at Aquatic Rarities, aka Malone's Monsters, has in his display pond. It is known as the four-eyed fish, or the four-eyed fish, or the four-eyed anablyp. This is a really cool fish because it in fact does have 4 eyes. It can grow to be about 8 inches in length. It can thrive in pure fresh water, but a lot of people have had more success keeping them in brackish water. They can see above the surface, and with the 4 eyes that they can collect any insects that are swimming by, and they will eat the insects that are swimming by. So really, really cool fish. I have yet to keep them, but I have seen them in person. Very unique fish. Maybe in the future I will keep them. Now, the next fish I'm going to talk about is a very unique fish and one that I thought never lived in South America, but it does call Venezuela home, and that is the American eel. Look how interesting this fish is. Yes, that's right, folks. The American eel can be found in Venezuela. The American eel does call Venezuela home. However, this fish is extremely rare in the aquarium hobby. Not many people keep this fish. I don't know anyone that does, but there might be an experienced hobbyist out there that has kept the American eel before. They have a wide range. You'll find them in Venezuela, other parts of South America, Central America, and even North America, which makes this fish a very unique fish because it can live all over the Americas. It can reach up to 3 feet in length and sometimes even larger than that. Very, very slimy, but also a very, very cool eel. And if I'm not mistaken, the American eel is the only true eel that comes from South America because the electric eel is not a true eel. It's actually a knife fish, but still a pretty cool knife as well. So we got started with some of the more unique fish that come from Venezuela. We've got the red-tailed barracuda. The barracuda that comes from South America rivers is not a true barracuda. It's actually a cherison, a tetra, but it is still a pretty cool monster predatory fish in my personal opinion. And the red-tailed barracuda has been on the other countries that we focused as well. The red-tailed and yellow-tailed barracuda have been in Peru, they have been in Brazil, they've been in Colombia, and now red-tailed barracuda can be found here in Venezuela. All right, moving along. Now we're going to focus on a really cool catfish that comes from South America and Venezuela in particular. It is very much like a gulper cat, with the exception that it can live with tank mates. You can have tank mates with this catfish. However, they have to be very large and equally as aggressive as this catfish. This catfish comes from Venezuela, and it is known as the black driftwood catfish or the traca catfish. I have wanted to keep this catfish for so many years, yet I cannot track them down locally. I can only find them online, but I really don't want to pay a lot of shipping for a catfish. But if I have to have one, I guess I will have to pay shipping. But that's not a big deal, is it? I don't mind paying shipping for fish that I really want, like I did with my black and gold and red wolffish. So this is a predatory catfish. It's also a very aggressive catfish. It's very territorial, so it will do good in an aquarium with other aggressive fish like Oscars, red terror, wolffish, etc. It'll grow to be about 18 inches in length. So it's the perfect catfish for an aggressive aquarium that is in the 6 foot range and larger. Very, very cool catfish that calls Venezuela home. So let's learn about some more cool monster cherisons that call South America home. We have a headstander that I have only seen a couple of times, and it is called the Turns Netty headstander. And as you can see, it's a very gorgeous headstander that comes from Venezuela. I have never kept them, but from my research, I can understand that they grow anywhere from 6 to 8 inches. They're semi-aggressive. They can be a little bit thin, nippy, but they would be a great tank mate for Severums, Geophagus, threadfin acaras, other acara. They'd also be a great tank mate with Leporhinus, other headstanders, silver dollars, etc. And while we're on the subjects of headstanders, let's talk about another headstander that comes from Venezuela, but it's actually in the Leporhinus family. Very similar to the Leporhinus fasciatus, but this one is known as, let me get the scientific name right, Leporhinus fredericii. This is a very cool Leporhinus. Instead of having a yellow and black background, it has a gold and black background. Very cool Leporhinus that calls Venezuela home. Also in Venezuela, you will find the traditional Leporhinus fasciatus, and you'll also find the Leporhinus affinis. Now, the Leporhinus affinis is very similar looking to the Leporhinus fasciatus, but I believe the Leporhinus affinis is the one that gets the orange on its chin as it matures. So the Leporhinus fasciatus has the bumblebee look, and really cool. And this one, the Leporhinus fredericae, has a gold and black pattern, which is very cool. Similar in care to the normal Leporhinus and similar in size to the normal Leporhinus as well. But a very, very unique Leporhinus to say for sure. And then Venezuela has a plethora of knifefish, but the most common one is the black ghost knife. And on the last episode of Life in the Amazon, the black ghost knife was featured in Colombia and Brazil as well. So the black ghost knife stretches all the way into Venezuela as well. And I believe Venezuela also has the brown ghost knifefish, which is a very cool variant of the black ghost knife. Now, another unique catfish that I have never seen personally, and another one that I would love to keep that comes from Venezuela, is known as the Wallace's shoehead catfish, or quite simply the shoehead catfish. A very unique oddball catfish. I mean, it kind of looks like a leaf fish or a leaf catfish, but it's a very unique catfish. And from my understanding, this catfish can grow anywhere from 8 to 10 inches in length, making it perfect for a 75 gallon, a 90 gallon, 125 gallon, and larger. It will obviously eat anything that will fit in its mouth, so it would be more suitable for angelfish tanks, geophagus, severums, waru, etc. But it's a very unique catfish, and I would love to keep them in the very near future. Now let's get back to monsters. And one of the fishermen's favorites in Venezuela is a very large predatory tetra that's much larger than piranhas. They grow much larger than piranhas, and is the South America's version of the African tigerfish, and that is the Dorado. I have a lot of love and respect for the Dorado. The Dorado, a very beautiful fish. It grows massive. It can grow up to 3 feet in length. They do not belong in the aquarium hobby, however, because they are ferocious swimmers. They need a lot of tank space, and they're ferocious predators as well. So anything they see that could potentially fit in their mouth, they will take out and kill. But what concerns me most about Dorados in the aquarium hobby is a short life, because they don't have access to thousands of gallons of water like they need, because they're a very active swimmer. And that's why I believe the Dorado belongs in the wild. Let the fishermen fish for them and release them and let them live happy lives. But they're a very cool fish that comes from Venezuela. I love the Dorado. Now, if you're looking for a miniature version of a Dorado that can be kept in a 55 or a 75, check out the Buenos Aires Tetra. Now, I don't think the Buenos Aires Tetra comes from Venezuela. However, it looks very similar to the Dorado, and it comes from South America, which is fine because Buenos Aires is located in South America as well. All right, so the next fish that comes from South America that we're going to talk about is a species of tetra, and it's a very, very nice tetra, and there's actually 4 species. I've had to combine all the species in one picture because, like I said, StreamYard gives me limits on how many images I can upload, and I have so many in my studio. But here are the tetras that I'm going to talk about. Up first, we have the red-eye tetra. Red-eye tetra, very hardy tetra to keep, very beginner-friendly, very popular in the aquarium hobby for the right reasons. They're easy to keep. You can get them at Petco or PetSmart. And I definitely want to get some for my aquarium. And then we've got the diamond tetra, which is the second tetra next to the red-eye tetra. Very silvery pattern, very gorgeous tetra, also very easy to keep. And that's one that comes from Venezuela as well. And then we've got the classic tetra that comes from Venezuela, Project Piaba's own Cardinal tetra. This fish created Project Piaba. Now, Project Piaba is what keeps South American fishermen alive. And what do I mean by that? Well, Project Piaba means that the fishermen have a way of life. They have income. They fish for cardinal tetras, diamond tetras, panda waru, and other fish that are really popular in the aquarium hobby. They quarantine them and get them ready for import to other fish stores around the world. That's how Project Piaba survives, and the cardinal tetra founded that. And the tetra next to the cardinal tetra, somewhat rare in the aquarium hobby, but is more popular nowadays, and that is the lemon tetra. Bright yellow color, perfect in a tank that has a blue light or a regular fluorescent light. The lemon tetra will look great. It looks great with Altum angels and other type of angelfish. All four of these tetras come from Venezuela, and all four of them are very, very simple to keep. I really admire and like these tetras that come from Venezuela. So up next, we're going to talk about another interesting fish that comes from Venezuela. And we're going to talk about some cichlids that come from Venezuela. And I've talked about this cichlid before on an episode of Life in the Amazon. It is known as the Diadema acara cichlid. It's a very beautiful acara. This is an image of the Diadema acara cichlid. It's an acara that I want to keep. The only acaras I have currently are the Hecali acaras or the Hecali geophagus or the threadfin acaras, but I definitely want to get this acara. It is also known as the royal acara, and you can see how royally nice it looks. The next Venezuelan cichlid that comes from Venezuela is called the Biotodama cichlid. This is a cichlid species that I know next to nothing about. I have never kept them, I have never seen them, but I have started researching them, and I really, really want to get into them. They seem to be a medium growing cichlid, more on the docile, peaceful side. So these guys seem to do well with angels, discus, festivum, geophagus, and waru. I certainly wouldn't put these guys in with aggressive South American cichlids, most likely because they get terrorized and killed. But these guys come from Venezuela, and they are very, very beautiful. Very, very cool Venezuelan cichlid. My friend Jeff has a great comment, and he says, black Venezuelan Corridorus catfish are awesome. Yes, that's right. The black Venezuelan quarries are very gorgeous. They're a species of Corridorus that is only found in Venezuela. And there's also another species of Corridorus that you'll find in Venezuela, and that is Corridorus blotchi, which shares the same name as Pimelotus blotchi, the four-line pictus. But the black Venezuelan quarry and the Corridorus blotchi are my two favorite Corridorus that come from Venezuela. So I'm glad you actually brought that up, Jeff. That's a very good comment about the Venezuelan Corridorus catfish. All right, moving along. Now we're going to go to some of the most popular South American cichlids, and Venezuela is no stranger to these cichlids. These are my two variants of this particular cichlid. Did you guys know that peacock bass are actually cichlids and not bass? Yes, that's right. Peacock bass are cichlids and not bass. The first peacock bass that you'll find in Venezuela is the Cicla orinoco, or the Orinocosis peacock bass. Very gorgeous peacock. They grow pretty large. They have a ferocious appetite. They'll eat anything that will fit in its mouth. And if they think they can eat it, they will at least try to eat it. So very, very cool predatory cichlid. And you got to love the Orinoco peacock bass. The next peacock bass I'm going to talk about is the Temensis peacock bass. And I started 2022 raising a Temensis peacock bass. I grew him to about 6-7 inches. And by the time I rehomed my Temensis peacock bass, he already had a ferocious appetite. He was dominating my 125-gallon aquarium, chasing everybody around. So I ended up rehoming my Temensis peacock bass to my good friend Daryl Schwartz. And now that Temensis peacock bass is getting massive as he shares a tank with a turtle. And they're in a very big aquarium at that. And that's why the peacock bass is thriving at my friend Daryl's house. So this image of this Temensis peacock bass was my old peacock bass that my friend Daryl has, and he is now about a foot large or bigger. So he's larger than a foot possibly. But this is my cichlid Temensis that my friend Daryl has. Look at the colors on this Temensis peacock bass. Very, very gorgeous. And as it matures, it's probably going to get even better looking. That's what I like about growing up peacock bass. As they mature, their colors keep changing, and they get better and better and better. And the Temensis peacock bass, which comes from Venezuela, also gets much better looking as well. So you've got to love the Temensis peacock bass, one of my favorite peacock bass that comes from Venezuela. All right. Well, when we talk about cichlid, it's only fair if we talk about Crenshaw cichlid. Pike cichlids. Pike cichlids are like South America's version of snakeheads, except better. I think pike cichlids are a lot better than snakeheads, and I love pike cichlids. And I definitely have to get a pike cichlid again. It's been a while since I've raised and kept pike cichlids. But here are the species of pike cichlids that call Venezuela home. And again, there are probably plenty more that I'm not talking about today. As we know, Venezuela is home to thousands and thousands of fish species, and there's probably a plethora of Crenshaw cichlid species that call Venezuela home. But today we're focusing on the following three. The first pike you see there on the screen is a Crenshaw cichlid saxatilis, or the saxatilis pike cichlid, or the gold flake pike cichlid. Very, very beautiful. The second pike cichlid is a Johanni pike cichlid, another large, growing, aggressive, monstrous pike cichlid that a lot of monster fish keepers love. And the bottom pike cichlid, the third pike cichlid pictured there, is every monster fish keeper's wet dream. Sorry, I just sneezed there. That's something you don't expect to happen on a live podcast or a live video. But anyway, the third pike cichlid pictured there is every monster fish keeper's dream pike cichlid, and that is the Crenshaw cichlid Zabrina, the Zabrina pike cichlid. And that is my all-time dream pike cichlid as well as the orange Zingu pike cichlid. But I think I like the Zabrina pike cichlid a hell of a lot more. It's a very expensive pike cichlid because it's very rare in the aquarium hobby, so it does cost a pretty penny. But it is totally worth it. And we'll do a show talking about pike cichlids in the future. But those are the Venezuelan pike cichlids that you'll find in Venezuela. Now we're going to get to some of the more cool, docile cichlids that call Venezuela home. And we've got this species of Severum. This is the Hero's Librifier, or the mouth-brooding Severum. And as you can see, they have a nice pink belly and nice pink spotting on their body, which is very, very cool. Very cool Severum that comes from Venezuela. And then we've got the South American parrot cichlid, which you'll find in Venezuela. And the South American parrot cichlid is a true parrot cichlid. It is not that man-made hybrid, where you take a red devil and a severum, or a Viaja cichlid and a severum, two cichlids from different continents, and breed them together and call that a parent cichlid. The true South American parent cichlid is very beautiful, and you can find it in Venezuela. And this is the true parent cichlid, and it does look like a true parrot, if you ask me. The next cichlid from Venezuela is what I call the panda chocolate cichlid. You've got a panda waru, but there should also be a panda chocolate cichlid. Because in my opinion, doesn't this guy look like a panda almost? This is a Hyplosecura chocolate cichlid, but it's a Venezuelan variant. In Venezuela, there are no Hyplosecura temporalis. It's only this variant. But this variant is very pretty, but they're very hard to come by in the aquarium hobby. That is why they're so damn expensive. When you come across them, expect to pay big bucks. But the care, the size, the diet, everything is very similar to the temporalis. But the same cannot be said for this fish. This is a panda waru, much different than the common waru. This is a more delicate version of the waru, and this one needs to have proper water quality, proper water conditions, very much Altum Angel and Discus-like water quality. So I would not recommend anyone keeping panda waru unless you have kept Discus and Altum Angels and angelfish in general, because these need a softer South American type water. So their pH is going to be very acidic. So for the panda waru, you're looking at about 5.8 to 6.4 pH, and that's only if it's a wild caught panda waru. The tank raised ones are a little bit more hardy, but when's the last time I've seen a tank raised panda waru? I have never seen them, and they're very extremely rare in the aquarium hobby, and they've only been available once or twice, and that was back in 2018. So I think all the panda warus that are coming into the aquarium hobby are wild caught. So unless you are someone that is keeping Altum Angel successfully, I would say stay away from the panda waru, because they're just a waste of money. They're very gorgeous, but they're a waste of money, because if they don't have the proper water conditions, they're just going to get hole in the head and they're going to whittle away and die. And that's very sad, and I don't want to see that happen, because this is a beautiful fish. And judging from this image, it looks like this panda waru already has the start of hole in the head. But the next cichlid that comes from Venezuela is the Venezuelan Altum Angel, my wet dream angelfish, my favorite angelfish, the Altum Angel. It is like the crown jewel of all freshwater angelfish. It's the largest growing, the tallest, the most beautiful, the most magnificent angelfish, and you'll find these angelfish in Venezuela. Very, very cool. And now the final Venezuelan fish we're going to talk about on today's show, because I don't want to bore you with all the fish species that live in Venezuela. 3 different Pimelodus catfish. Up first, the first picture is the common Pimelodus pictus. You will find the Pimelodus pictus in Brazil, Colombia, Peru, but the most prettiest ones come from Venezuela. Also in Venezuela, you'll find my favorite Pimelodus, and that is the Pimelodus blotchi, or the 4-line pictus, which is pictured second. And the Pimelodus species at the bottom, that is Pimelodus ornate, or the ornate pim, a very rare but pretty ornate pictus, but a very rare Pimeloda and a very pretty Pimeloda. I've kept them once or twice, very fun fish to keep, but they're very expensive. So if you want to get them, you have to understand that they're a schooling catfish and they're going to cost you a lot of money. But is it worth it? 100%. It is worth it to keep the ornate pin, because, like I said, they're very, very pretty, and they're very, very awesome looking, in my opinion. All right, so those are all of the fish species that I'm going to talk about that live in Venezuela. Now it's time for the fun part of the show. I'm going to show off my fish species that I have from Venezuela, and then we're going to get to our main event, which is creating the two biotopes from the Venezuelan fish. So I have the following fish species from Venezuela. I have the Geophagus abalis. I have a flagtail Procholotus, which comes from Venezuela. I have four-line pictus. I have a red wolffish, a gold wolffish, and a black wolffish, and a vulture catfish. Those are all species that come from Venezuela. However, because I did not have time to film videos of all those fish, I did take videos of a couple of those fish, and those are the videos that I'm going to play on tonight's show for you right here, right now. So up first, I'm going to show you a video of my three Geophagus abalis. Check it out and enjoy my three beautiful young juvenile Geophagus abalis, which are putting on some decent size. So those were my three Geophagus abalis. When I got them, they were about 1.5 inches, and now they're pushing 2.5, 3 inches. I cannot wait to watch them grow up and see how they color. I'll definitely have some future videos of them here on my YouTube channel. Now, how would you know the four-line pictus is my favorite Pimalota catfish? Well, if you say that I have 5 of them, that makes them my favorite. Yes, I have 5 Pimalota blotch-eye catfish. 2 large ones in my 125 and 3 juvenile that I'm growing out in my 75 that'll one day join the other 2 in the big tank. So here are some videos of my 3 4-line cats in my 75, but I actually believe I only got a video of 1 or 2 of them. Anyway, here is the video of my 4-line pictus. All right, here is the other video of my 4-line pictus. Now it's time for a video of my flagtail Procholotus, Sema-Procholotus, and this is the variant that was wild caught from Venezuela. Check it out. And as you can see, my flagtail Procelotus is still a juvenile, but it is already getting amazing colors. The three wolffish species that I have, all three of them can be found in Venezuela. I've got the Hippolytus curupira, the black wolf, the gold wolf, and the red wolf. Now, you've already seen my black wolf and my gold wolf here on my YouTube channel. And if you have not, just go to my playlist, Aquatic Wetline, and you'll see the black and gold wolf that I had, or I have, excuse me, because I still have them currently. But you've never seen my red wolffish that I was given as a gift this year. My dad gave it to me as a birthday gift, and he has put on some size. He's living in the big tank with the big boys and is doing really well with the black and gold wolffish. Here is my red wolffish, which you'll find in Venezuela. Very pretty wolffish. I love how he has the orange on his fins, but my Fieste is being a pain in the ass to him, constantly nipping his fins. We'll have to figure out what to do with the Fieste, but I love my red wolffish. He loves to hang out by the filtration intake for my canister filter. Not sure why, but hey, if he's happy there, then I'm happy. Those were all of my fish that I have currently that come from Venezuela. Now it's time to have some fun, and it's time to create some biotopes from Venezuela. And we're going to start with a community aquarium. It's time to create the Venezuelan community biotope. So my Venezuelan community biotope would be a 220-gallon aquarium. The substrate would be sand. I'd have a couple of fluval canisters as well as CAE title on the back filters, so that would be superb filtration. I'd have some artificial plants, and then I would also have some live plants floating in there to make it a natural feel for my community aquarium. And the reason I'd have a sand substrate for this aquarium is because the fish that I'm going to have in it are going to appreciate a sand substrate. So here is my Venezuelan community biotope. In my Venezuelan community biotope, I would have the following fish. Let's see here. I would have Blotch-eye Corydoras, the Venezuelan black Corydoras. I would have a school of lemon tetras, a school of diamond tetras, a school of cardinal tetras, a school of red-eye tetras. I'd have some Santa Perca Damien, which also come from Venezuela, but I forgot to mention them. I'd have some Geophagus ovalis, which are my favorite geos, and I'd have some Altum angels, and I would try my hands at some Panda Waru. So my community biotope would have about 10 blotch-eye cories, 10 Venezuelan black cories, about 20 lemon tetras, 20 diamond tetras, 20 cardinals, 20 red-eye tetras, about 5 of the Satan Perca Damon, about 5 of the Geophagus ovalis, about 5 Altum angels, and 5 Panda Warus. That would be my community biotope from Venezuela. What would be your Venezuelan community biotope? Let me know in the comments. I'd love to see what you have in your community biotope. Wow, what a great show so far. I think right now is the perfect time for our intermission. During this intermission, you're going to hear a word from our supporters. You're going to hear a word from Little Egypt Aquarium Club, which provides aquarium hobbyists with quality aquarium supplies and fish food. Remember, you can save 10% off your order from Little Egypt Aquarium Club by using coupon code ALEX. You also hear a word from my favorite fish store here in Southern Florida, which is in Stuart, Florida, aquatic and exotic. When I come back, we're going to wrap up the show. We're going to create our last biotope aquarium, and that's going to be our monster biotope aquarium featuring monster fish from Venezuela. The fun chat and the fun biotope creations continue right after a word from our supporters. Don't go anywhere, monster fish keepers. The fun in Venezuela continues right after this.
Are you a tropical fish keeper living in South Florida? You need to check out Aquatic and Exotic in Stuart, Florida. Aquatic and Exotic is home to quality freshwater and saltwater tropical fish. You will find African cichlids, South and Central American cichlids, goldfish and koi, and exotic fish. We also supply aquarium supplies like filters and heaters, aquariums, and lights. We also have quality fish food brands. Aquatic and Exotic is open Monday through Friday from 11 a.m. to 7 p.m., Saturday 10 a.m. to 7 p.m., and Sunday 11 a.m. to 5 p.m. Questions? Give us a call at 772-781-4046. Stop on by and check us out. 1525 A.C.E. Lockhart Street, Stuart, Florida 34994.
Aqua Alex here, and I'm proud to partner with Little Egypt Aquarium Club. Little Egypt Aquarium Club was founded by my friend Jeremy Stellhorn. Little Egypt Aquarium Club provides aquarium hobbyists with quality aquarium supplies. You will find sponge filters, pleco caves, and so much more. Little Egypt Aquarium Club also has quality fish foods. You'll find things like rapashi. Rapashi is a name brand fish food, perfect for plecostomus, community fish, and even monster fish. You'll find medicated fish foods as well. Aqua Alex and Jeremy Stellhorn are teaming up to save you some money. If you use my discount code, which is Alex, you will get 10% off your order. So go to littleegyptaquariumclub.com right now, place an order, and use coupon code Alex, and you will save 10% on your order. Now back to the fish chat. Hey, tropical fish keepers, it's yours truly, Aqua Alex Cardinale. I am personally inviting you to be a part of the November 2022 Ask Aqua Alex Live. I will answer all of your tropical fish keeping questions, whether they are freshwater or saltwater. The November 2022 Fish Keepers Q&A is going to air on a very special day. It's going to air live on Black Friday, Friday, November 25th, 2022 at 10 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Pacific. You may buy a new aquarium or new fish on this day because fish and pet stores probably are going to have some great deals. I look forward to answering all of your tropical fish keeping questions. Make sure to email your fish keeping questions to Alex Go Yankees Cardinale 19 at gmail.com so that I can answer them live on the air. Also, I want to see your beautiful tropical fish and your beautiful aquariums, and I want to show them off in the Fish Keepers Show Off. So email your fish photos and videos to Alex Go Yankees Cardinale 19 at gmail.com. And since this month is Thanksgiving and we're all talking about what we're thankful for, my question for all the aquarium hobbyists is going to be, what are you thankful for in the aquarium hobby. Email me your answers to alexgoyankiescardinelli19@gmail.com. The topics for this month's show will include the following: how to properly do water changes. I will talk about properly cleaning canister filters and hang on the back filters. I will discuss the best aquarium filters. I'll talk about Black Friday tropical fish shopping and if I've got anything this year, and much, much more. So I, Aqua Alex Cardinelli, am inviting you, the tropical fish keepers, to be part of the fun on November 2022 Fish Keepers Q&A, live Friday, November 25th, 2022, 10 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Pacific, right here on YouTube channel, the legendary Alex Cardinelli and Aquatic Wetline. So start submitting those questions right now. Welcome back to Life in the Amazon, and tonight we're in Venezuela, learning about the fish that call Venezuela home. And before we went to our intermission, we learned all about Venezuela, the different fish species that call Venezuela home. I showed off some of the fish that I have that come from Venezuela, and we created our first biotope, which is the community aquarium biotope. If you're just tuning in now, don't worry. You can rewatch the beginning of our show in the archive or when this show replays after I have gone live. Anyway, right now we're going to get to our main event, and that's our final biotope. And we're going to create our monster biotope right now. So it's time for the Venezuelan monster biotope. Now for this aquarium, I'm going to do a 1,000 gallon biotope aquarium. And this one would also have a sand substrate. It would have some driftwood and some artificial plants and some caves in there for the monster fish to hide in. Now let me remind everyone, all the biotopes that we create here on Life in the Amazon are not real. They're just made up imaginary biotopes, but they're made up for fun. So here is the Venezuelan monster biotope and what I would stock in the Venezuelan monster biotope aquarium. Very, very cool aquarium idea. So here is the Venezuelan monster biotope. In this particular aquarium, I would have true parrot cichlids. I would have the Hero's Librifier mouth brooding Severum. I would have the Venezuelan Rio Negro chocolate cichlid in this aquarium. I would have the Venezuelan wolffish species, which include the three species that I currently have: Apollos curupira, black wolf, red wolffish, and the gold wolffish. I'd have some vulture catfish. I'd have a four-line catfish, a Megalodorus irwini, which is also found in Venezuela, the classic irwini ripsaw, zebra ripsaw catfish. I'd have some Temensis peacock bass and some Orinoco peacock bass. That would be my monster biotope aquarium from Venezuela. So again, that would be the true parrot cichlid, the Rio Negro chocolate cichlid, the Hero's Librifier Severum, wolffish, vulture cat, four-line pictus, irwini catfish, Temensis, and Orinoco peacock bass. And that is my monster biotope from Venezuela. All right, what a great show this was. I had an amazing time talking to you from Venezuela. I'm not really in Venezuela, but today I am, because we're talking about the fish species that call Venezuela home. Anyway, this was a great episode of Life in the Amazon. I would like to say thank you to Jeff for the stars that he sent to me. I cannot wait to receive them. My very first time getting paid for a live stream. Thank you so much, Jeff. That means a lot. I want to thank everyone that took the time to watch this video. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope you learned a lot about fish that come from Venezuela. I'd like to thank the Facebook fish groups that allowed me to promote my show. And I also like to thank Monster Fish Keepers for allowing me to promote my show on their platform as well. Definitely check out Monster Fish Keepers. I hope you enjoyed this episode of Life in the Amazon. On our next episode of Life in the Amazon, which will be episode number 19, we are going to create Bolivian biotopes. I'm going to travel to Bolivia to learn about the fish species that live in Bolivia, and we'll also learn about the South American country, Bolivia. Bolivian rams, anybody? We'll see. Well, thank you all for tuning in. I hope you have a great rest of your day. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video, give me a thumbs up. Share this video with your friends. Enjoy the aquarium hobby and happy fish keeping. It's time to be thankful and time to stuff our face with turkeys. It's Thanksgiving month, and I, legendary Alex Cardinelli, will host the second annual Thanksgiving Bash live Thanksgiving Day at 11 a.m. Eastern, 8 a.m. Pacific. Join me, legendary Alex Cardinelli, for the 2022 Thanksgiving Bash live Thanksgiving Day, Thursday, November 24th, 11 a.m., 8 a.m. Pacific. I, legendary Alex Cardinelli, will talk about what I'm thankful for this Thanksgiving. I'll discuss my favorite Thanksgiving foods and memories. Plus, there will be appearances by Chef Alex Cardinelli and Aqua Alex Cardinelli. I'm sure Chef Alex will help answer your last minute Thanksgiving questions, plus give out good Thanksgiving cooking tips, as well as help you prepare a delicious turkey on Thanksgiving Day. What tropical fish topics will Alex bring for Thanksgiving? You'll have to tune in to find out. Plus, legendary Alex Cardinelli previews the NFL Thanksgiving football games and more. Gobble, gobble, gobble. Don't miss the Thanksgiving Day Bash live Thursday, November 24th, 2022, 11 a.m. Eastern, 8 a.m. Pacific, right here on YouTube channel, The Legendary Alex Cardinelli. Happy Thanksgiving, everyone. Go out and get those turkeys and tune in to the Thanksgiving Bash. Thursday, November 24th, 11 a.m. Eastern, 8 a.m. Pacific, right here on the legendary Alex Cardinelli YouTube channel.